Mikichi Taifa, and we are here for the 16-day Babaluaiye Healing Ritual, and I am here with our spiritual leader, Babaluaiye Marie of Ilé Ìmọ. Greetings.
Thank you. And bravo, everyone. This is such an exciting time, Mame Kichi. Our Babaluaiye Healing Ritual. Yes.
Oh my goodness. I mean, Babaluaiye, we're talking about the deity of disease. We got a lot of that going on today. It is a deity of pandemics.
Yeah.
It is a deity of prosperity and community restoration, but it is also the deity of healing.
Healing, prosperity, abundance. Babaluaiye is known for community healing. Many of us remember the days of the smallpox and all of that. That's when he really came on the scene in terms of worldwide attention. But he is also in terms of healing the individual, healing the family, because before we even get to the community, we have to begin with self and family, right? So he is known for many ways of healing mentally, physically, spiritually, economically, with your finances. So he brings an opportunity for us to reset ourselves, rejuvenate before we move forward into the next era.
And you know, Marie, that is so very critical. And during these 16 days, December 16th through December the 31st, we're going to be focusing on different aspects of these healings. So can you just share just a little bit, just a little flavor of what these 16 days are going to do?
Absolutely. Well, the theme for this year's healing service is healing with the 16 Odus. So we're bringing in the Odu Ifa, and we're looking at the Odu, the major Odu from Okbe to Ofun, and each day we will focus on one of the major Odus. And not only that, we have Babalawos and Iani Ifas from Nigeria, from throughout the U.S., who will be chanting these essays for us and who will be offering blessings for our community as well as the individual. So we're going to focus on healing in so many different ways that we're going to just have everything infused with healing, because as you said, there's a lot going on today and we need the healing.
Well, Babaluaiye Marie, I'm so very excited. I mean, these 16 days, I mean, I just can't wait. And I'm glad that Ilé Ìmọ is presenting this for the benefit of the community once again.
And we want to invite each and every one of you. You will have a package. We want this this year to be, it's a little different from last year. It's going to be a little bit self-generated, so you are able to engage in your ritual within your family at a more convenient time for you. But we will also have times where we will get together collectively and do rituals. So yeah, so I'm excited, and we want everyone to join us. Please go to www.ileimole.com for more information on how you can engage in this annual ritual.
Absolutely. I do pray.
Ekabo, Akwaba, and Hetipu. Greetings. Here at Ilé Ìmọ, we also celebrate Kwanzaa. Now we will have the candle lighting of the Nguzo Saba, the seven principles.
Abarigani. Today is the third day of Kwanzaa, Ujima, which means collective work and responsibility. We light the candle. Harambe.
Greetings, everybody. It's wonderful to be here with you all today. And I'm so glad that the energy is so high, because the topic that I have to discuss today, it can be a little bit difficult, but I think we can get through it and come out on the other end of it with some good information and some hope to move forward and make things better. But today, the topic I'm going to be discussing is struggling with pain. It's a little interesting that I would even get this topic. I saw it on the list from the very beginning when Ia told us that we would have to do a presentation, and it jumped out at me, but I fought a lot against doing this because I don't particularly like talking about my personal experiences in front of groups of people, but I'm going to do that today. So some of you may be aware, and most of you probably are not aware, that I live with 3 pretty serious conditions. I'm going to name them for you, and yes, they are as serious as they sound. So the first is hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I also have mast cell activation syndrome, and I also have something called hyperandrogenic postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So these things do cause a significant amount of pain in my life. They have always caused me a significant amount of pain. I've lived with them all my life. They are congenital illnesses, which means that a part of it is genetic and that other things are affected by my environment and my experiences. So, needless to say, I have a lifetime of experience with pain. But one of the things that I am very glad to have learned since I have been practicing African spirituality and especially have become a member of Ilé Ìmọ is that our pain does not have to become suffering. And so I want to talk a little bit about how, even though pain is something that we all experience in our life, our experiences with pain are very unique. They're very complex. They're as complex as the person who's having the experience. But regardless of how individualized these experiences are, pain is still a community issue and it needs community attention. So specifically, it made me think of the fact that Kwanzaa is going to be celebrated later this month and that we will be highlighting the principle of Ujima, or collective work and responsibility, which charges us to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and to solve them together. So bearing this in mind, I feel that we must do better as a community when it comes to sharing the burden of pain. So some of the other factors that make pain a community issue is that it could cause mental health issues in individuals who struggle with it. So pain itself is a function of our biology and our psychology. So your central nervous system sends these signals out that say, hey, something is wrong. That is basically the biological aspect of pain. However, pain also has a psychological aspect that's affected by everything from your age to your race, the place you live in, the time that you live in. All of these things affect how you yourself will see pain, how the community around you sees pain. It'll affect the ways that you're taught to think of pain, the ways that you're taught that you should or should not feel or process pain. And all of those things actually inform the way that you feel it. So when people have experiences with pain that kind of go against whatever the beliefs are that they have for themselves, like in my personal experience, I'm a very young person, and people say all the time, oh, you're too, what do you mean your knees hurt? What do you mean your hips are bothering you, whatever, you're too young to have this issue. Hearing that makes it even more difficult for me to deal with my pain, because I feel that, you know, not only am I having this experience, but something must be wrong with me. I must have done something wrong, or there's, you know, there's something unacceptable about my pain because I'm a young person. You can see this happen with Black people in general, but especially Black women. You go to the hospital, you could be in excruciating pain. It is far less likely that you will receive pain medication from the medical professionals there, because there is an ingrained belief that Black people experience pain less than people of other races. And this is so entrenched in belief that it's actually taught in medical schools. And we, of course, common sense would tell you that this is not true. But if people hold these attitudes, especially people in medical professions, then that leads to another thing that makes this a community issue. And that is inadequate healthcare and malpractice, which can lead to higher rates of all sorts of illnesses and all sorts of things that end up becoming medical crises and medical tragedies, when really they were totally preventable had doctors or nurses or whoever just listened to the person in front of them when they told them that they were experiencing some sort of pain. So another aspect of that is that it is a myth that pain has to be connected to some sort of immediately visible injury, or even connected to some an injury that you might need imaging to see, or some underlying illness. Doctors and scientists are fully aware that there is very real pain, and people really do experience pain when there is absolutely no physically evident underlying issue. People even experience pain in limbs that they no longer have. It's called phantom pain. So when people lose limbs in accidents or have those limbs amputated, years later, they can still experience pain in the space where that limb would be. So that should tell you right there that there does not have to be some sort of visible or obvious injury or illness to mean that this person in front of you is actually experiencing what they're telling you that they are experiencing. So that being said, it's just a good practice to take people at their word when they tell you that they're experiencing some sort of pain. So aside from mental health struggles and inadequate healthcare and malpractice, tension in families is another thing that makes this a community issue. When people are coping with pain, a lot of times it's difficult for them to meet their family expectations. They might not be able to clean the house or care for their children in the way that they normally would, or perform whatever other duties are expected of them because of their position in the family. And that could cause a lot of tension, especially when family members are unaware or uneducated on whatever the issue is that their family member is experiencing. And a lot of times, people who are coping with pain also have difficulty processing and expressing what they're experiencing anyway. And they may tend to isolate themselves. And all of these things are heightened when they feel like the people around them either, one, don't believe what they're experiencing, or don't understand what they're experiencing, or don't have an interest in helping them get better or helping them cope, if in cases where they feel like there is really no getting better. Okay, so another thing that makes this pain a community issue is the issue of addiction. So lots of people end up battling with addictions on top of having to cope with whatever pain it is that they are dealing with. A lot of these times, these addictions may be to opioids. I'm sure we've all seen and heard about the havoc that opioids are wreaking on all sorts of communities around the world. It's not just one particular community that's being harmed by this epidemic, even though, there's a certain narrative that's definitely more prominent. And it's not just opioids that people are addicted to. People can form or develop addictions to all sorts of substances, activities. It doesn't have to be prescription or illicit drugs. It could be food, it could be shopping, it could be overworking, any number of things that people can find themselves addicted to as a method of coping. But the main thing, or I feel like one of the main ways we can address this as a community is, one, to understand that by and large, people who develop addictions are just trying to feel better. And we shouldn't stigmatize people for wanting to feel better or wanting to feel like they are normal or at a place where they can function at a normal level or an expected level in their lives. And a lot of times, if you talk to people with addictions, they will tell you that that is why they started doing whatever substance or whatever activity this is. It made them feel normal. It made them feel like they could function. I'm sure we can all relate to wanting to be able to feel like that. Unfortunately, not everyone finds healthy ways to be able to function, or not everyone finds ways that are healthy for them in the long run. So not stigmatizing people for having addictions, not shunning or isolating people who have addictions is key. Realizing that they are people and that that is another level and another layer of pain that they are dealing with. And our focus really should be on how we can best serve them and help them so that they can begin a process of healing themselves. So let's see what else. In addition to all the different ways that we can see that pain is a community issue, I wanted to talk about a few things that we could do as community members to help people around us kind of shoulder that burden if we know that they are experiencing it. So we can definitely employ our spiritual practices and tools to help address our own pain and help us guide us in addressing the pain of other people with empathy, with respect, and with kindness, because there's no way that you can possibly help anyone feel better without empathy, respect, and kindness being at the root of your service to them. One thing that I wanted to address within that is something that I found across spiritual communities of different denominations or different practices. I hear a lot of people say, don't claim it, and other versions of that when they're talking to people who are suffering from some sort of illness. And I feel like people mean well, but that is a very damaging thing to say to someone who is dealing with the illness. First of all, there's no way to address a health issue or any sort of issue without first fully accepting that there's an issue. So if your advice to me is to just not accept that there's an issue, I'm never going to get better by that advice. So I would say that we should probably stop saying that to people. And I feel like it's an attempt to kind of end a conversation that might be uncomfortable for one or both parties. But I feel like getting past that discomfort up front benefits everyone, because it allows us to actually really be able to be there for one another. And like I said, help to shoulder this burden of pain. Also, saying that to people doesn't make sense in the context of our spiritual practice, because if there was if just simply not claiming illness or pain was a thing, there would be no need for any of our healing deities or no need for any of the healing modalities that we use. So maybe it's better to, if you know the person is, they practice your spiritual practices or similar practice, maybe suggest a ritual, a medicine, a chant, a song, a prayer, offer something of substance instead of just suggesting that people ignore what is actually happening in their bodies. So with reference to some of those healing modalities, like we could employ breath work, meditation, yoga, tai chi, journaling, therapy, and support groups. Like I said, ritual, massage and acupuncture, performing acts of service for other people, art therapy. All these things will not only help us deal with our own individual pain, but they help our community members shoulder their pain, especially those who might not have family members or close friends around who are able to help them deal with these issues on a day-to-day basis. Just having someone who maybe you only see once in a while, but is understanding to what you're dealing with, and obviously shows some interest in helping you to, like I said, heal yourself, or just feel normal. People just want to feel like they are capable of maintaining their some sense of normalcy most of the time. Anyway, I feel like that's what people are interested in. So just things like making sure that you still invite your friend who may be dealing with an illness out to events or whatever, even though they might not necessarily be able to make it, depending on how they're feeling. Just let them know that they are still thought about, they're still considered when they come out. Make sure that you have an understanding of accommodations that they might need, or at least know what to do if they experience some sort of crisis. Things like this don't seem like huge, or to me, they don't seem like they're a huge deal, but they really could not only make a difference in the person's life who might be suffering, but they make a huge difference in your relationship with that person. They show the person that they're safe with you, that you're someone that they can trust, that they can go to and lean on. And really, if people don't feel comfortable to do those things, then what is the point of the community that we're a part of? You know, what are we actually doing? Are we actually employing these principles that we're going to spend, you know, all this time highlighting at the end of this month? I feel like I've jumped around a bit because most of these topics are interrelated in different ways, but I just wanted to reiterate, I guess, that pain does not have a specific look and it does not discriminate. So if a person tells you that they're hurting, you should believe them, even when there is no visible injury or apparent physical cause. And it's a myth that if there is no apparent physical cause, that people, you know, must be suffering from some mental health illness, or it's all in their head, or even I've heard a lot of people be accused of just flat out faking their illness or pain. And honestly, I don't see what a person would really gain that would be worth the work to put up that kind of charade. But people are accused of faking their illnesses all the time, and all those types of things really just do nothing but make the situation much more difficult for that person to navigate through, and in the end up, you know, becoming a hardship on the greater community.
Aboru Aboye Aboshishe. My name is Iyanifa Ifaniyo from Oyo Town, Nigeria. I am an Ifa priestess from Oyo Town. I am the Iyalode Akeyola from Oyo land. I want to chant Odu from Otura Meji. Oni begere alawo senore kifa. Oni pere ni otori ise. Adébáfòtù tí ó ru àrùn méjì tí ó là yẹ́bẹ́yẹ́bẹ́. Ẹbọ wọn ni ó ṣe, ó sì gbẹ́bọ ńbẹ̀ ó rúbọ. Èrò òpó èrò ọ̀fà, ìgbà òtú rú àrùn méjì lọ́la yẹ́bẹ́yẹ́bẹ́. Otu was a man that went for consultation because he wanted to become a wealthy man. He went to meet his Babalawo, and the Babalawo did Ifa consultation for him, and he was told to make sacrifice of a 2 tortoise, and which he complied the sacrifice. After the sacrifice, Ifa helped him to become whatever he wanted to become. He eventually became a wealthy man, and everything started going smoothly for him. So he gave appreciation to Ifa, and Ifa appreciated the Olodumare. May Olodumare help every one of us to become whatever we want to become in life. All whatever we lay our hand on shall always be prosperous. In Odufa Otura Meji, Elaboru, Elaboye, Elabo Siseo.
Hello, Akwaba, Hotep, greetings, welcome. Okoramini Iya Oloshunde, and I am a member of Ilé Ìmọ. Today I will share commentary on the Odu Otura Meji with you. In the Ilé Ìmọ shared with us a story about a man who went for a consultation, then was told to do a sacrifice, did his sacrifice. Then after he was told that he could get what he wanted, he went through with it, and then he gave thanks once he received what he was told he could have. So I look at that as with our children, often we'll guide them and we'll say, you need to do this, you need to do that, or, through our wisdom and our understanding of life itself, we're helping. And that's how I look at the divination, as just that overseeing, that knowledge base to help us move forward in a good way. And once we do make the sacrifices, put in that hard work, and we know from within what we want, and it's in alignment, then of course we want to give thanks. We want to give thanks always for being able to receive even the little things, even just waking up in the morning, give thanks for that. So for the little things and the big things. So I say in this healing season, I say, may you give thanks for having the breath that you can actually take in, for having family around you, for having shelter, if you have shelter, or having support, if you have support, whatever it is that you have, and we give thanks.
So greetings. We are now at this very special part of our service where we engage in some reciprocity. Reciprocity is part of our 16-day Babaluaiye Healing Ritual. We're at the point in which we give back. We're at the point in which we experience reciprocity, the point in which we give as we receive. We want to help the blessings flow like the waters. Yes, indeed, as part of this service, we want you to just participate in this giving, in this receiving, and we use the cowrie shells to help to facilitate our ritual of giving. And so we talk about the perennial giving and receiving that represents the interconnectedness of the universe. We want to help Ilé Ìmọ grow its services and its offerings, its ceremonies and its festivals, its retreats and its rites of passage and all of the above. The first Sunday service, yes, indeed. The Babaluaiye Healing Ritual, the Black History event, our morning ground ritual, our Orisha feast, our back to school ritual, our water ritual, our elders ancestral events, our soulful empowerment. All of these are annual events, and back to right here, right now, today, our Babaluaiye 16-day healing ritual. Let there flow peace, power, love, and prosperity. Let there flow peace, power, love, and the prosperity. Let the blessings of Oshun wash down upon us, empowering us with prosperity, empowering us with power, and empowering us with perfection. Praise God. Praise God. Olodumare, from whom all blessings flow. Pull out that Cash App, or we'll call it our Carry app, and it's going to be $Ilé Ìmọ, $ILEIMOLE, PayPal, info@ileimole.com. And you can do your snail mail by check, Ilé Ìmọ, P.O. Box 610, Temple Hills, Maryland 20757. Yes, indeed. Give so that you may receive. So now that we've had the opportunity to give our $Ilé Ìmọ for Cash App, our PayPal, info@ileimole.com, or our snail mail checks, we want to thank the Mother, Father God, the ancestors, the deities, and the saints. We want to please, please, please accept these offerings, these heartfelt offerings on this day in your name from your devotees. And as we give our gifts freely with joy, we receive these blessings gladly with gratitude. And for those who are physically unable to give, please know that we are forever in the spiritual love.